The bullshit chant after a bad free kick is one of the great unique parts of our game.
In. Absolutely love it, and burn them off when you're getting crucified. Hello everyone, welcome to Eddie and Jimmy. Thanks to our friends at Fiji Airways, the place to go. It looks like for the short term Europe might be cooked, so head to Fiji. What a great trip it is. And Fiji Airways, you fly out of Melbourne, out of Sydney, out of Brisbane, straight into Nandi, have a couple of hours break there, and then on the Big Bird into America. You can go straight to Vancouver in Canada. You can go to LA, you can go to San Francisco, and direct to Dallas, which of course then is the major hub to go everywhere, including Europe, if that's the way you want to go around to get to Europe over the summer. Or our winter as it turns out. But the other thing is straight into Nandi for a great holiday. Jimmy Bartel, I think you and your boys and your beautiful daughter, there might be something for you in the mid-year break.
Yeah, bulla, Eddie.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, look, I'm happy to go test it out for our listeners. If you need, look, somebody has just got to go in first. I'll go over. Just to test.
Hey, and can I just say this? And our other sponsor, Hyundai.
Oh, magnificent.
Fantastic. So Hyundai used to be sponsors of ours right back in the early days at the footy show. Then they sponsored Carlton. They've been at Carlton ever since. So again, what I love about this, Fiji Airways support the Gold Coast Suns, and Hyundai have stuck with Carlton. Talk about a good sponsor.
Yeah.
You know, they're not fair weather. They're a sensational organisation. So get a deal you'll be proud of at Hyundai. Well, we're proud to have Hyundai as our sponsor here on Eddie and Jimmy. All right, let's get stuck into it, mate. Shorting, holding or buying?
Well, this will be every week until you buy Jack Gunston to kick 100 goals. He's currently averaging 4.3 goals a game.
Well, clearly no, because he won't get enough games up, will he?
Plus finals.
Oh, his finals, yeah. I'd love him to.
So would I.
Wouldn't it be unbelievable?
Now, we talk about...
You never know. These days, because the way the game's being played, leading forward, who's smart... Do you like the way he's actually starting on the leaning up against the fence?
I highlighted this during the week.
Good on you. So they're smart guys. I love the guys who are smart playing football.
If you're a young kid and you don't have to be a Hawthorn supporter and you're really obsessed by your footy, you're a teenager who plays forward or you're an AFL player, just go to a game and just go watch him. Because I get the opportunity. I'm very lucky and fortunate. I get to sit in great seats, of course, doing the radio broadcast. And you sit there, and before the bounces even happen, the craft is starting. So, as you touched on, I highlighted in the coverage, he actually goes in against Dane Rampy, who's an excellent defender. And Dane Rampy loves to front you, play in front. So, Jack goes and stands and almost leans up against the cheer squad. How's it going? So, what Rampy first started to do was, I'll go stand back with him. But now, all of a sudden, he hasn't eaten up all his space.
Yeah.
And then he starts moving and angling his way. Rampy went and stood in front of him by 10 metres. And every time Rampy looked that way, he ducked out the opposite way. All before the ball had even bounced. It's a master of your craft.
I've often wondered, Jim, why is it that everyone who stands around the centre square runs in as opposed to running out?
Well, the wings now, I reckon the last couple of years, wings don't come charging in like they
Not like they used to.
But the forwards and the backs, it's often a half back comes steaming through or a half forwards coming up to bat. But the wings keep a bit of their...
But even though that, they line up down the centre or clubs, you don't stand out in the intersection of the 50 and the boundary line. Open it up. If you want to get Jack Dunstan one-on-one, why don't you just do that?
You could learn a lot by just watching Jack.
Anyway, he's a beauty. Hope he kicks 100.
I'm going to hold because I want him to keep going there.
I'm going to short because it's not going to happen.
Collingwood playing a home game at Carlton's home ground and Carlton playing a home game at Collingwood's home ground in the same round.
Is that this week?
Yeah, so because Collingwood playing the Giants at Marvellous.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think you heard me on Monday about this. The fact that Collingwood aren't playing at the MCG for over a month is counterintuitive to maximising crowds.
Sounds like you're shorting this.
Yeah, I'm shorting it. Not only shorting it, I'm taking them to ASIC. I'm going to actually have insider. Something's going on here. It's just stupid.
12:30 starts. I'm buying it. I like it. It gives you flexibility. You can watch games without overlapping.
Yeah, the only thing is it's no good for people like the other footy who've got kids who play footy.
Kids' yep.
So I don't know about 12:30.
All right, well,
that's good for a TV game. But you know what? That's maybe that's one for So I'm big on using use the clock, use the time zones. Well,
Yep.
that's what we need to do. 2 games in one day at Marvel.
What game have we got?
Where is it? Oh, is this week?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, that's all right.
That's fine.
Yeah, I suppose.
Close it down and let's go again.
Yeah, no, that's it. I mean, you'll turn them over, but again, maybe that's an indication of where the AFL thinks the crowd's going to be, that you can actually have 2 games like that on. But again, this week we've got Marvel Friday, Marvel Saturday night. The only one game on at the home of football, the MCG, is Carlton Melbourne on Sunday, 3:15.
I'm buying it.
Yeah, well, again,
Not against it.
yeah, I suppose.
Oh, can I throw in a part B
Yeah.
to the Marvel? Roof open.
Well, not during daytime.
Well, we do have daylight in this country.
Can't see. Blinds you.
Yeah,
It's no good for the supporters.
Wonder why the flip. Like, why now it's an issue to open it?
Well, I think they're opening it at night time, aren't they? Because it's too hot. That's what it is.
It's not that hot this weekend, is it?
No, but it's hot in there when the roof's on. It gets hot in there
Yeah. All right.
if you've got a big crowd. Anyway,
Tucked in footy jumpers.
can I even go back one? Why don't we just sell Marvel? No, I've been saying it for years. We're going to spend a lot of money on redeveloping it.
What would you do with our second stadium?
Maybe you just need one and do a ripping MCG with extra, with the turf and the roof. Like you have it, where you can remove the
Broady?
turf. Hey?
Put another stadium at Broady?
No, that's...
The Ed McGuire?
Well, I'd put it at Gosh's Paddock.
It's a good place.
You've got everything there. You've got railway stations. You've got everything.
Yep.
It'd be great. Get rid of Amy Park's just about cooked. And you could put in a really great state-of-the-art stadium there and have concerts all the time. See, the thing about Marvel this year for the AFL, it's been ripping for them. They've had 16 concerts over the summer this year, so it's actually starting to be what it should have always been. I'd get rid of the cricket out of there, play that down at Geelong, or guess what? Play cricket at the cricket ground. There's a big one right in the middle of town.
Yep.
Call me old-fashioned.
Tucked in footy jumpers.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm shorting. It doesn't bother me.
I'm not fussed as long as you're not getting grabbed.
Yeah.
I don't know why people have... I want socks back.
What do you mean?
They cut the socks off now. They're running around in what used to be, bobby socks.
No, they put an actual fine system in place for players cutting socks.
But now they have short socks.
Yeah,
No, they didn't tell anyone. They just changed it.
I was a short sock wearer.
Yeah, which also mitigates against jumper clashes if you actually got half your leg.
Mind you,
covered
I never presented like a footballer, so
yeah.
jumper too big.
Charlie Curnow.
Um,
He's going to be fascinating, isn't he?
No, I'm holding. He is what he is. Like he's exactly what you purchased. Like, is he any different than playing at Carlton? He'll be impactful for the Swans in games and moments, and that's what they got him for. But I don't know what are the expectations.
Probably the expectations they had of Carlton on him.
He's a good player when he's up and about. Very good player when he's up and about.
Now, my son does this, and he was talking about it the other day. Interviewing a player from the losing team on the ground.
Bye.
As Xander said on the podcast with Daniel Gorringe, he said it's the journalistic equivalent of having to go back with the flight of the ball.
Oh, yeah. You don't. They don't want to.
No one wants to do it. But
No, it's great for us.
Yeah, but who's us?
We're in the home.
Yeah, why can't you interview a losing player?
We're in vigorous agreement here, Red.
Mate, I'm very big on you get 120 minutes to decide if you're happy or sad. And if you're sad, bad luck. Explain it to us, tell us, give us something, and get off.
So we're both buying.
Yeah.
Conflicts of interest. Oh, this is the most boring topic.
Yes, I think there's a terrible conflict. Ken Hinkley commentating on Port games. That's disgraceful. Of course, I think it's utter nonsense. He gave us a great insight yesterday, and I thought, if anything, he was probably going a bit easy on the Bombers as Port Adelaide took them apart.
I'm shorting the life out of that one.
That is
I want
absolutely
nothing to
shorted out of
Silly
existence.
question, you silly little man, Richard. Umpires in players' rooms pre-game. Why is that a problem? Haven't the umpires always sort of drifted out and said...
Well, they don't have. Have they gone back to it again, have they? Well, I'll tell you what you do, first of all, is they should check to see if they're wearing a ring, so that way Ginnivan doesn't have to get...
The Aura ring. I've got one of those on now.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, well, good. You can wear it for every moment of your week other than 2 hours. Okay? So I'd check for that. Hopefully they check the balls, which is what they used to do. Check the studs, because we've had players...
Where they used to come in and run your hand down them? Yeah,
to see if there's a nail in those days.
It was the PE teacher from the local high school, and... Let me look at your boots, boys.
Yeah. Umpires, and you know what, I reckon it's actually good that they should go around and there's a bit of a connection then. It takes a little bit of, this us against them mentality.
I'm buying that.
Yeah, I'm buying.
All right, Ed, this one, to use our producer's word, the commerciability of Hawthorn staying in Tasmania. Tassie says, get out of here.
Yeah.
Very profitable, and they've built a good, I guess, not only legacy, but a great grounding in Tasmania. Hawthorn.
Well, if you're Hawthorn, you're saying, hang on.
For 25 years.
Been there for 25 years, and when no one really wanted to have a go, they offered it to St Kilda, North Melbourne turned their back on it. Hawthorn have stayed there, so I can understand them being reticent. I did a back of envelope analysis a few years ago and worked out that for a team to have any chance of success, you basically had to have a catchment area of 500,000 people. Okay? So if you have a look at Melbourne, there's roughly 5 million, and it works for Geelong. And teams that didn't have that sort of catchment areas have fallen by the wayside. Fitzroy back in the day, etc., etc. And as a rule of thumb, it actually works. Tasmania, if you combine everybody, is roughly 500. So if this is going to work in Tassie, it's probably going to have to be Tassie. So as much as if I was the Hawthorn hierarchy, I'd be saying I'm filthy. They get a ripping deal out of Tassie. Tassie should be putting all its money into Tasmanian football and the football team. So I'm sorry, I'm shorting Hawthorn staying in Tasmania, and Hawthorn now are a big enough club that they should be able to wipe their own face at the MCG, and we need probably more games in Melbourne, to be honest. Yep. So that's that. Having said that, the team that is going to be a juggernaut, which, as I reach for my phone to just have a quick look, is the Gold Coast Suns, and their percentage at the moment is 191.0, which is the best part of 50% better than the Sydney Swans and 60% better than the Western Bulldogs in second position after 3 unbeaten games. They are going to have a catchment area in the next 10 or so years of 1.5 to 2 million people.
Nice.
That's why I wanted to buy them a few years back. Kicking myself. Anyway.
Are you in or out on the following statements?
Yeah.
The bullshit chant after a bad free kick is one of the great unique parts of our game.
In. Absolutely love it, and burn them off when you're getting crucified.
Yep.
It's the only thing. It used to be a great moment when the coach would send the captain over, but we stopped that. Remember that? The captain would go over, and everyone go, "Yeah, get over and tell them they're killing us."
They've been doing it to us all day.
Yeah.
All right, this one's for you, Ed.
Yeah.
After Pies fans are locked out of Marvel, Eddie will call for a stadium redevelopment to fit in Pies members for their home games at Marvel, in or out?
Well, it's in because they should be. Collingwood should never play any games at Marvel.
Yeah, the only problem though, Ed, is you have to take the roof off to get more seats in.
There's a ground up the road. That's where Collingwood should be playing. But as I said, I don't mind them. The games mid-season should be where Collingwood plays at Marvel. But Friday night football, don't know about that. Righto. If Brisbane can't beat St Kilda and they go 0-3, people will start throwing around the H-word hangover.
Well, there will be people in, and I won't be one of those people.
I will be an out on that as well.
Yeah, I'm an out, but there will be people who will go hangover.
Yeah, I think they've also got. They've had a. I think we need to investigate a little bit though. They've had an indifferent summer, haven't they? They've had a lot of controversy around the place.
Yeah, but they've had indifferent summers and moments, and
Yeah, I know,
they keep pounding sides.
But can I just say this? Yeah, but when you play 3 grand finals in a row, that's what takes it out of you.
They'll be fine.
Yeah, but it might take it out of them. The other Queensland side going beautifully.
They're going nice. Can't wait for the next Pineapple Grapple.
Yep, Sam Mitchell will be meeting with 17 club captains while the Hawks are out having a bye this week. In or out?
In. Go for it. Go your hardest.
Yeah, good on him.
Good on him. He sole job, as he said, is to make Hawthorn great.
I haven't got this question, but I'll put to you. The Dacos family, going down to Tasmania, is one of the all-time great rope-a-dopes of all time, and I'm delighted to see them go down. And while they think they've got any chance whatsoever of getting a Dacos, absolutely drain every dollar they've got and then stay at Collingwood. In or out?
I'm in, and I want to contact the marketing PR person who is involved, and I think it might have been Crust Pizza, because you seized on a moment. What was the discussion, the topic on radio all weekend?
Yeah, exactly.
You've absolutely nailed it.
So they went down and had the sporty at the Granada Tavern. Tell me the other time that the Granada Tavern has been a front page story in football.
Tassie, Peter Hudson.
Peter Hudson.
And it was... He won the Logie.
No, yeah, it's right. Yeah,
and he had, his name just came in. He'd have all weather.
Gary McDonald as Norman Gunston.
Norman Gunston, yeah.
So that was the reason why he flew in the helicopter and kicked 9 against Collingwood and flew back, because he had Norman Gunston on the Friday night and the Saturday night.
That's it.
At the Granada Tavern.
We should still call that. Gold Coast record one of their biggest crowds of this, the year this weekend. They have the bye. Oh, that's silly. No,
Jeez.
No, that's out.
Jeez. This is coming from a Hawthorn supporter.
Yeah. To celebrate 25 years since Essendon's famous come-from-behind win against North, the Kangaroos should be given a 12-goal head start. That'd make it fun.
But you know what they should do? Back to an earlier question, was that the other day when you asked me about this? I think it was yesterday you asked me. Essendon should really get all those blokes back in. Show it. Show their players, this is what we do. We don't give up. The Bombers are actually at the equivalent of 12 goals down on the season at the moment. You can fight back. Put the pride back into it.
I'm going to sound like clearly I'm an old man these days, just have to accept it. But do you think, to use the term, this generation of player really care much about, like, that sort of stuff? As far as a motivation goes?
I'm finding that actually the younger generation, right? So not the millennials.
Yep.
The next ones coming through are very conservative. They're up for these type of things. They're a little bit less politically correct. So they actually like a bit of a bake. They like a bit of why we, what does this mean to us? Whereas there was a lot of kumbaya over the last. I've got to find it. Let me put this to you, okay? Now, this was a photo I took yesterday when I was out having my run, where I run 50 metres and walk for 2 hours. Now, that is, I'll show you that, right? I'll get this up. This is a advertising hoarding for a for sale sign for Savvy, S-A-V-V-I. So there you go, guys. They're out of Hawthorn. They're a real estate mob. Now, can you read that?
Hot girl walk territory.
Hot girl walk territory, and it says underneath, in small letters, it says, tan at sunrise, Gilson's at sunset, you're exactly where you should be. Now, I looked at that, and that overlooks the walking path or running path next to the Yarra on the corner of Alexandra Avenue and Darling Street, right? So prime time. And I looked at that and would have laughed at that 20 years ago. But for the last 20 years, I went, oh, my God, that's sort of saying you can have this one-bedroom apartment and look out at hot girl walking territory. This is horrible. What do I do? And I sent it to my wife and said, what do you reckon about this? And she said, my God, what sort of thing is this? So I sent it then to my son, Xander, and his girlfriend, Jazz. And they said to me, no, that's just a term, hot girl walk. She said, I went for a hot girl walk today. I went, right, okay. Are we allowed to have a laugh again?
Yeah.
Are we allowed to enjoy these things again? I actually sent it to Jackie Felgate and said, and she came back because she's all over social media. She said, no, hot girl, that's cool. And I said, I'm confused. I'm confused. That used to be okay, then it wasn't, and now it is. Coming back to your question, I think this next generation of kids coming through actually respond. They like to know the traditions, and they like to know what it's all about.
So put it this way: if they got Matthew Lloyd and Jason and Mark Johnson and Scotty Lucas, and I'm going to miss because they had the super side, but pretty much everyone in that Essendon side, and they were floating around, in the cage there at Marvel, where you stand there and watch, like, would they care?
Can I give you a recent history example?
Because they don't care about Matthew Lloyd's comments, because they've actually said that on radio. They said, well, we don't really care what...
Well, if you don't care what Matthew Lloyd's saying, then you should be slapped in the head.
He knows his football.
He knows his football. Listen to anyone. Sometimes you've got to listen to idiots because they occasionally say something right. But I'd be listening to all of that. But I'll give you an example. Last weekend, the Brisbane Broncos played Melbourne Storm in a grand final replay. And Michael McGuire, who I'm claiming as a cousin...
Madge.
In the middle of the afternoon, rang his CEO and said, have we got any guys from this particular game in the 10, 15 years ago grand final side who happened to be in town? And Dave Donaghy, who's their CEO, said to him, as a matter of fact, we've got him down for sponsors weekend, so-and-so and so-and-so's here, a couple of legends of the game. And he got him in because Madge had been getting slapped by Gordon Tallis and all this other stuff, and he got him in, and they actually went old-fashioned. They said, this is what the jumper means. And these guys said, this is what it means. Forget everybody else, forget the noise. Today's the day. And I've been told by the hierarchy of the Brisbane Broncos that it made an impact. Good. They got up and won by 4 points against the Melbourne Storm in a classic game.
Yeah.
They went back. What's that?
They gave a big start and ran them down.
And they got stuck into it, and that was their theme on the day. Now, that's one thing. Did it make a difference? They said, yes, it did. So my point is, sometimes you can be too cool for school. Sometimes it's a bit more tribal, it's a bit more visceral. And sometimes, you want to tap into your supporters. And there's nothing wrong with the hatred.
Yep.
In sport. And I used to be very big in telling our guys, this is why we hate Carlton.
Nice. We've got to keep moving. Ben King has the best job in football right now. In or out? In.
Well, he's a tall forward in the best team in the competition.
Mark kick goal.
How many has he got now?
He's got 16 from 18 kicks for the year.
It's value.
16 goals, 1.
Done.
Ross Lyon will be the coach to put an end to the current high-scoring slingshot football. Yeah, I think Ross wants to still attack as well. Yeah. He's a very good defensive coach too. Yeah.
But he's got a side that's probably better off attacking, hasn't he?
Jeez, he's been entertaining with that microphone in front of him.
Yeah, he's been good.
Who'd he clip? After they beat the Giants, he managed to clip the Giants and the Brisbane Lions in the space of 2 minutes.
That's good, but we want that.
It was great.
We want to have a bit of clipping.
Yeah.
Back in the day, people forget, Tom Hafey, Tom was the master of the off the record. He'd spray everybody, then he'd go on the record and say nothing. But he'd put the bullets in the gun for the journos to fire them. But Mick, Sheeds, John Kennedy was very good at it back in the day. David Parkin especially good at it. Greats. All right.
Footy tipping. I've actually got to put in a protest here. I should be one more. I tipped the Saints against the Giants, and I saw up on the line that someone had flipped my tip. So whoever is putting my tips in from here, I'm going to headlock.
One question, I want to ask you this question. I meant to ask you this on Monday. The last 2 weeks when I've tipped GWS, you have really tried to shepherd me away from it. Mm-hmm. What's wrong with them?
At the moment, yes, injuries are a factor, but they have a bit of a gap at the moment between their experienced and inexperienced players, and they need their inexperienced players to almost play 30 games above their experience. Does that make sense?
Totally.
And so probably it is a knock-on effect. And then the other thing that is concerning me is this slow starts and attention to detail. And you can't keep asking Adam Kingsley to bake you. Because after a while, a coach, if they keep baking you, you sound like the crazy man shouting at the moon. Yeah, I think maximum you've got probably 3 bullets as a coach to fire a year, and then you turn into the screaming lunatic. Now, if you're going to keep coming out at quarter time, being 6-7 goals down, or just not having attention to detail, where does it leave you, Adam Kingsley?
All right, tips. Geelong and Adelaide at GMHBA, formerly known as Cardinia Park. 7:30 on Thursday. Well, other one. Do you like the second verse of the Geelong song?
Stand up and fight. It's in our tradition. Yeah, it's not bad. You don't need it, but it's not bad. Mm-hmm. Well, until we're proven wrong, Geelong win about 80% of their games at home, so I'll go Geelong.
Okay, yeah, so do I. Collingwood and GWS at Marvel.
Collingwood.
So Collingwood playing away in Victoria at a home ground.
Don't let that bother you. Collingwood.
No, it just annoys me.
Well, this is a good one. 12:35 p.m. The first game at Marvel Stadium, St Kilda versus the Brisbane Lions.
St Kilda, Brisbane, 12:35. Yeah, the more I look at that, the more I don't like it. But anyway, go on.
Who are you going for?
Brisbane.
I'm going to go for the Saints.
Okay, good.
Fremantle
and Richmond at Optus Stadium.
Freo are a different gravy at home. I think they might get a hold of the Tiggies here.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they'll flog them. Are we giving scores here as well, or just... Oh, yeah.
All right, I will go Geelong, 10 points. Collingwood by 30.
30?
St Kilda by 3.
God, that means Collingwood's going to have to kick some goals to win by 30.
I don't think the Giants will kick enough goals.
I hope you're right on both counts. Geelong, I say 10 points. Collingwood, 24.
Oh, you're not far off me. You went 30 and you went 1 goal less.
Oh, all right. Collingwood, 18, just to shut you up, all right?
St Kilda. You went Brisbane.
I went Brisbane. I reckon Brisbane by 18.
And
Fremantle by
52.
72 points.
Yep. Essendon, North Melbourne.
Ah, jeez. How do you go with this one? By the way, I'm watching this one from start to finish.
Oh, yeah. This is a popcorner.
Absolute beauty.
Yeah.
And you know that, Brad Scott, no love for Old North after the way he got tiptoed out there. So it's got everything going.
The Brad Scott Cup. The Ben Mackay Cup.
Well, you go back, you get Sheeds and Dennis Pagan.
Yeah, but guys who actually were at both.
Yeah.
All right, who are you going?
The Roy Ramsey Cup.
Roy Ramsey?
He played for both.
North Melbourne or Essendon?
North.
I'm going North. I want to see Essendon respond. Like,
yes.
They're going to cop their head this week, but I want to see them respond. But think North. And I think this is going to come down.
Well, I'll put it this way. What if Essendon wins? Then that is the greatest false dawn of all time. And Clarko's back in the firing range then, isn't he?
2 points, North Melbourne.
Oh, really?
I nearly tipped exactly what happened against Bulldogs and Adelaide.
You did.
They're down to the last 3 minutes.
Exactly, yeah. North have got to win this by better than 4 goals.
I think they've just got to win.
Yeah, but I think they've got to win and win well. Right. Anyway, Port Adelaide and West Coast. West Coast were exciting. It was great.
Unfortunate. Geez, that looked bad, the injury to Rosie. That looked gross. It looked like he'd hyperextend his knee. They're telling us it's a nerve thing, but your knee's not supposed to go back that way when you're going that way.
Yeah, that one.
That only moves him in certain areas, you know.
Yeah, the crutches on the bench are always a bit of a giveaway too.
Chem West Coast? Hard to back up, young side. Port Adelaide, that was a hot game. There was players cramping everywhere.
Yeah, they were.
I reckon just because it's a home game, Port Adelaide by 8 points. Geez, Jason Horne-Francis looked good too.
Yeah.
The Hornet.
Yep, I'll go with you, Port Adelaide, 18.
Carlton and Melbourne. Oh, for an 18-day break. Carlton.
They're an unhappy mob, aren't they?
Carlton.
Yeah, I got feedback on our story last week about the carry on at the President's.
Oh, yeah.
Getting a bit of feedback, getting a bit of return fire these days.
You know, next time you should ask those people to come on.
Oh no, it was a conversation. It wasn't abuse.
No, it'd be nice.
No, it was just they were talking to me, and it was interesting because they confirmed everything I said was 100% right.
I'm glad that nobody has my number.
No, but it was.
I get up out of this.
No, it was good. I think there was more. You know what happens is people love to imagine an ulterior motive. Are you trying to undermine somebody? Are you part of a...
That's a word. You can see it from whatever lens you want to see the world.
Mate, if I can undermine Carlton, I'll do it all day, every day.
So you going Carlton or Melbourne?
I don't like either of them.
The Ron Barassi Cup.
Draw. The Barassi Cup. The Brent Croswell Cup.
Yeah, Tiger.
Jeez. Melbourne are hopeless on the weekend, weren't they? Carlton by a goal.
Carlton by 18 points.
All right. Gold Coast and Bulldogs and Hawthorn and
Why
Sydney.
couldn't they just
Can't
play those?
wait to play those games. It's a bye.
Why couldn't those 4 teams be playing each other this week?
Okay, which underlines it again. Okay, we're going to not be... There's nothing personal, but the draw is no good. I had to really...
Yeah,
on that.
Had the handbrake on hard.
Oh, yeah. It's just, all right. And you know what they've got to do? You know what I reckon? Craig Drummond's been in the chair now. Time for Craig to get up. Remember, did you ever see The American President? The movie with Michael Douglas? Gives a great speech. He gets up and he says, the other bloke who wants to be the president's whacking away at him all the time, picking all the fights and, picking at him, and he just says, and I'm so-and-so, and I am the president. We need the chairman's address from the chairman. He needs to get up at a press conference and say, I'm running the AFL. Here's my CEO, Andrew Dillon. Here's whoever. I don't care if they've got 10 across the front, whatever. Here's what we're doing. We're not going to have this next year, or we've decided what we're going to do next year because it's got the sesquicentennial test. Here's what we're doing. These are our motives. Here's what we're doing on grand final day. Boom, 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 boom. And come out and just lead.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice to hear from him.
It is. Because, Andrew Dillon's copying a lot of all the heat. Right? We've got a commission.
Yep.
Lead.
Step into it.
Step in. I want everybody. I'd rather, it's the old saying, mate, often wrong, never in doubt. You've actually sometimes just got to be hard and fast and get in there and make it happen.
That's it.
But they're not, it's not like we have to revolutionise things. We just go back to what worked in the past. Again, I'll say it. We've got the best game, the best supporters, the best TV deals, the best facilities. People from overseas come in and go, this is unbelievable, this game. Don't overcomplicate it. Get people in who love the game, who know the game, and know how to execute the right results. You don't need too many. Lee Matthews is the first one that they should put in. I don't care if he's on the commission, on the board, a paid employee, or just brought down for the meetings or put on a Zoom call. There's others that I think probably should be in there, but there's too much politics and carry on. Yeah. As the great late Dick Pratt used to say, don't get the best available, get the best. That's what we need in football at the moment.
Yep.
And don't even think about Peter V'landys.
We'll see.
Okay, that's it. Big round 3.5 coming up. When do we get to round? What is it?
6.
6. Okay. We'll gather around in between.
And then we've got some more buys to come after that.
Oh, okay. That's good.
That's great.
All right. I had a line there that I'm not going to go near. All right. Catch you next week. We'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend of footy.